Hi, my name is Valerie. Thank you for joining me today. Today I wanted to pop in and do a quick video on what I've been reading. Now, quarantine due to the COVID virus has not really changed my life. We homeschool in the mornings. It's changed my life in the sense that when we go to church, which we still go to church at our regular times, uh, when we go to church, there's no one there but my family, and we're not able to do our outreach ministry to the neighborhood children that we were doing. So those things are different, but we're still going to church at those times. We're still homeschooling at the same time. We are no longer obviously doing group activities, sports activities, swimming, the Y, things like that. So that's different. But basically, my schedule and routine are the same. I still work out at home. So I'm still exercising basically the same amount of time. Obviously, I'm not having to drive back and forth to the gym, so that saves a little bit of time. But, I do have a little extra time, but I don't know why I've been doing so much more reading. I guess I have been squeezing in more during my downtime because I've had a little more downtime than normal. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to share with you what I've been reading. I've shared in several videos, my homeschooling update videos, some of the things I'm reading. I am reading this book still, Spiritual Depression, Its Causes and Cure. And you may wonder, that's taking you forever. Is it a terrible book? No, it's not a terrible book. It's sermons. This is a book of sermons on the Christian life. And they're not long. They're about 10 pages each, but they are very packed with scripture and things to think about as I go through. I am marking and making notes to myself. I'm underlining. At the end of each chapter, I'm making a few notes to myself about what I thought. And this book led me to make a huge major change in my life, which I will be posting about soon. But this book has changed me and helped me in so many ways. And it is not a how-to book. It is not a power of positive thinking type book. This is a book of God's Word about dealing with anxiety, stress, depression, trials, burdens, which all of us face. And certainly during these days, we're facing a lot of that. Financial stress, worried about our health and maybe the health of our loved ones. I mean, this is a wonderful book. If you're not used to reading sermons, it may be, not what you would love to just sit and read. These are also lectures by Martin Lloyd-Jones that you can listen to if you are more inclined to listen. Now, his voice personally kind of grates on my nerves, and the recording quality back when he was living, I believe he died in the 60s or 70s. So the recordings obviously are not as high quality. So I prefer reading it, and then I can digest it. Also, I'm a visual learner. If you're an audio learner, if you learn better by hearing, then look up the sermons online and listen to them. They will bless you. So I've been reading that still. I heard about this book on Instagram. I follow several book sites or bloggers who read and write reviews, and this was recommended. It's a book about this girl who goes back. Her family travels to a place where they can live like the medieval times, and supposedly it's supposed to be about an abusive father. Some reviews say it ties into xenophobia in the current political climate, social justice climate. I did not finish it, not because I don't want to read about those topics or I'm afraid, of an opposing view of what my worldview, although I do have set opinions because I'm a Christian, so everything is filtered through the scriptures. But this book was poorly written, in my opinion. People were talking in one paragraph with no quotation marks to say who was speaking, and I didn't know who was talking. I didn't know who was who. I was very confused. It is a novel. It's brief. I thought, oh, I can still get through it. I think I made it to like page 50, and every time I thought of reading it, I cringed inside and hated the idea. And I thought, life is too short to read a book that you really just don't want to read. So, despite all of the glowing reviews about this book, for me personally, it was a thumbs down. I did not finish it. I think I've only not finished about 4 or 5 books in the last few years. I really try to force myself to go forward and discipline myself. But life is short, friends. So you might enjoy this book. You can look up the reviews on Goodreads or on Amazon. Take a look at it. Maybe it's at your library. You might enjoy it. It wasn't my thing. Okay, the next I read, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I got all these, by the way, from my local library, who kindly lets you reserve books online and then they will bring it out to your car. So that's been great. So, and they have extended the due dates. So you can keep them for almost forever. So it's exciting. So I feel like I have tons of time. So maybe that's, I don't know. But anyway, I'm trying to see how many I can get read. I guess it's a mental thing. That's why I'm reading more. I'm more determined. I don't know. But this is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. It is about the HeLa cells. She had cancer. She died when she was very young in 1951. They took her cells without her knowledge as a sample, and those cells regenerated themselves in any condition, and they've kept on doing that on their own. Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of cells, and they've used those cells to develop vaccines, to figure out how to treat cancer and different illnesses. It is amazing what they have done with these cells, and they're probably using them right now on this COVID virus. So very interesting if you like science, if you want to know more about cancer, if you want to know more about history, the struggles that this family has faced. They were not told that this lady's cells were going to be used in this way, so they've never made any profit off of it at all, even though some companies have profited. Anyway, it's very fascinating. It took the author like 20 years to write this book because of all the research she had to do and how difficult it was to contact the family, get the family to talk to her. It's incredible. So I really enjoyed this one. I did finish this one. So there you go. The next one is that I read after that very quickly. I read it in one day, actually. Like I think it was a Saturday. I read a lot in the morning and a lot in the evening. The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Takes place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The author was about 16 when she wrote it and about, I think, 19 when it was published. And it was not what I expected. It was very moving. I thought it sounded like it was written by a young person, the way it was written. But I wonder if I just thought that because I knew before I started reading it that she was young when she wrote it. So it could have been a little presupposition. But it's very good, and I enjoyed it. She talks about delicate topics without using a lot of harsh language or coarse language. She says they curse. She doesn't write the curse words out, which I think is nice because, we can all fill in the blanks. That was a pun. We can all fill in the blanks. We don't need it spelled out for us every time. So, and it's just really good. Very interesting. Pony Boy. That's the actual name of the main character. Pony Boy. Anyway, so if you haven't read it, which you probably did, I'm behind on a lot of these modern classics, so I'm trying to catch up. But anyway, it was very good, and if you have not read it, read it. It's very quick read. If you have read it, maybe years ago, maybe during quarantine, you might want to pick it back up. The next one I just finished about 2 days ago is called Just Mercy. There was a movie that came out that I did not get to see yet because of quarantine and because I forgot, actually. But this is the book that the movie's based on by Bryan Stevenson. It is incredible tale of execution, people on death row who were there unjustly. They were not guilty at all, and not only were they found guilty and put in prison, but they were put on death row for a crime they didn't commit. Kids who were put on death row for a crime they committed, as a child when they were young and stupid. Sometimes crimes that weren't even crimes of murder, and they were put on death row. Stories of people our jail system is overcrowded. People that are in prison for such small offenses that our country is paying for their care, and they don't even really need to be there because they were so young. For instance, there's some ladies in prison. One of them was in prison for about 15 years, 15, for writing $300 worth of bad checks. Okay, she deserved a punishment, but 15 years in jail, that's just one example. A lot of this book is about people in poverty, people of color who were put in jail probably because of race, definitely because of race. A lot of these cases are in Alabama and happened in the 80s and 90s, and some are still going on today. Bryan Stevenson is still alive. He runs the Equal Justice Initiative, and he is making a difference. just incredible book. And I don't know if it's for everybody. It's, sensitive material. It's very hard to read about injustices done in this country and in the modern era. But it made me want to get out and help more people. Also, more than anything, these people need the gospel. That is not something that he says in the book, but it's something I took away from it as a Christian. We need to get the gospel to people. They need Jesus. They need to hear the truth that they're sinners and that they've got, nothing to live for except Christ. And with Christ, we have everything to live for. And it just really was inspiring to me, and I really enjoyed this book. A book that I haven't started yet, but I got from the library, The City of Ember. It's a young adult fiction. I don't know if I'll finish it. I haven't been motivated to start it yet. I've been reading all these others in front of it, but I've heard good things about it, so maybe. I hope you can see this it's on my iPad Kindle app. Ellen Hilderbrand, The Perfect Couple. I'm not sure which way is better to show it to you. But that's what it looks like. I got it also through my library, the ebook, and that's another reason I have put off reading this one, because the ebooks are only available for 2 weeks, and I want to be sure I get this one read before it's got to be returned, and there's a lot of people in line for it, so I can't just renew it. Whereas this one, I think I have till doomsday to finish. So, no, not really. I have a long time since they have extended those due dates, so anyway. So I've been reading this one. It's a mystery sort of, I don't know. So far, it's okay. It's not just a true page turner, but it's good enough. I'm pretty sure I'll finish it. So that's what I've been doing during quarantine. That, as well as some, cleaning and organizing like everybody else in the country. I've gotten rid of a ton of stuff from closets, and so anyway, and I'm looking forward to life returning to normal. And I'd really like to be able to buy some bleach. But anyway. I hope you're doing well through the quarantine. I'd really love to hear about what you're reading or what you're planning to read or have read. So please leave me a comment below. And if you have any questions for me, leave those as well. And or say hello, because hey, I'm quarantined. I don't get out much. Anyway, thank you. I hope you're doing well and that you have a great day.